It drifts so bad that you have to get certified.
Dicamba.
Yeah.
I didn't think anybody used that anymore.
They're pulling it back pretty hard. So. Ready? Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call our September 5th McLeod County Board meeting to order. Can we please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance? Just a quick comment. We do have 3 board members here today. One is with his family and the other is too ill to attend today's meeting, but we are meeting the requirements to be able to conduct business today. So we'll move on with our consideration of agenda items. Is there any additions or changes to today's agenda?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Luthen, second by Kruger to approve today's agenda items. Is there any discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Move to approve.
We have a motion by Kruger, a second by Luthens to approve today's consent agenda. Is there any discussion? We'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to our next item of business, we'll call on our extension experts.
All right, good morning, and thank you, Board, for having us. Yet again, a presentation from Extension. This time, we're going to be presenting our Farm Family of the Year. So if you guys want to come stand up here to be recognized. So our Farm Family Program is the University of Minnesota Farm Family Program honors our farm families from throughout Minnesota for their significant contributions, not only to the agriculture industry, but also within their local communities. We solicit open nominations and then utilize a subcommittee of County Extension Committee to make those selections. The Farm Family Recognition Program has been recognizing Minnesota farmers since 1979. It is coordinated by the University of Minnesota Extension, the College of Food and Agriculture and Natural Resource Sciences, and the College of Veterinary Medicine. Farm families for 2023 were recognized at Farm Fest from August 1st to 3rd. They were recognized on the 3rd. We also recognize our farm families more locally. So at the McLeod County Fair this year, we recognized the farm family before the 4-H auction, and they were presented with a banner that they can then hang in their shop or barn or wherever they so choose. The Longcritch Family Farms of Stewart started over 40 years ago when Mike, the son of cash crop farmers Leonard and Frances Decker Longcritch, married Barb, daughter of dairy farmers Don and Elva Schultz Trenton. Mike and Leonard farmed together, and Mike and Barb also had a few feeder cattle, sheep, and chickens. Barb also worked off the farm, and Mike was a mail carrier. Longcritch Family Farms consists of Mike and Barb, their son Dean and his wife Stephanie, along with their children, Olivia, Dalen, Landon, who are part of the daily operation. Daughter Laura and her husband Greg Kaiser both work in the medical field. Their children are Taylor, Whitney, and Grady. Mike and Barb's son Scott and his wife Bethany and their boys, Wyatt and Austin, are also part of the daily operation of the farm. One of the key points made by the nominator of this family was that they all work together and they all support each other in the farm operation, and that's one of their key strengths. They grow corn, soybeans, and a small amount of wheat. In 2017, they started raising Holstein bottle calves, which they get from local dairy farms, and they bought their first registered Angus cows. The Longcritches raise their calves from birth to finish. The Holsteins are then sold at market, while the Angus are sold as freezer beef to local families. Diversifying into livestock production has created more opportunities for the kids to be active in the farm operation, and then they also present with 4-H with their animals. Dean and Stephanie's family are, again, involved in 4-H, FFA, Boy Scouts, church and Sunday school, as well as youth group, and Stephanie also works off the farm. The kids help on the farm and show cattle at the county fair and other cattle shows. Scott, Bethany, and the boys have all started 4-H. Bethany works as a crop adjuster and is on the board for Noah's Ark Preschool. And Mike and Barb live on the Lonkridge family home farm. Barb continues to work off the farm, helping when available. The family also enjoys camping, fishing, and hunting together. So this is our 2023 Farm Family of the Year, and we're really proud to have them we're very honored to present them with this award. So, thanks.
Congratulations. Just throw a few comments in there. What a deserving family to be recognized. Their name is very well known throughout those farming circles out there, and that next generation being very active in 4-H and buffet. I believe Olivia showed, was it a reserve champion Angus steer at the state fair? Is that right? So absolutely, family efforts all the way from top to bottom here, and very glad to have them part of our ag community here in McLeod County.
You guys like to add any words? Or?
Could we have them, all of you come up here actually for a photo with the commissioners that are here? Thanks.
We'll try everyone in between the two flags.
Fit in between us and whatever there, so.
And if you look here, if I can't see me, I can't see you. So. Ready?
Thanks again for making this. Well, that's a great way to start our meeting today. We will now move on to our Sheriff's Office. Chief Deputy Ward.
Good morning.
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 I'm here to consider approving the purchase of 4 Sheriff's Office vehicles for 2024 at the cost of $172,040 with the funds from the 2024 Sheriff's Office budget. The vehicles include one 2024 Dodge Durango via state bid from Dodge of Burnsville at the cost of $43,277 and 3 2024 Dodge Durangos via state bid from Dodge of Burnsville at the cost of $42,921 each. The vehicles are expected to be delivered within 6 to 8 months and will replace 3 2019 Dodge Durangos and 1 2018 Ford SUV.
Okay. Board members, any questions?
These were in the budget, and they were all, I think I knew that this was coming.
Yep, they were budgeted for.
Okay.
They're on schedule. It's for every year.
Just a point of information, being that I had a couple, well, I seen it myself, and some of the vehicles that have incidents during the year, how is that handled as far as replacements? Are they all repaired, or are some of them totaled out that we need in between the budgeted vehicles?
Most of them are repaired. Knock on wood, we've been pretty fortunate that the vehicles haven't been totaled, but all the ones recently have been repaired and continue being in the fleet.
And the reason I bring that up is because, I mean, it's getting more and more unfortunate that you get involved in chases or whatever happens, and I just want the public to be aware that even if it's happening in the metro area, it ends up out here. But not that that pertains to these vehicles you're asking for, but I just wanted people to be aware of that. With that, I'd make a motion to approve.
Okay. We have a motion by Kruger, a second by Luthens to approve the purchase of 4 sheriff's vehicles for a total cost of $172,040 from the 2024 Sheriff's Office budget. Excuse me, is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B.
Item B, consider approving the sale at auction of 3 2019 Dodge Durangos and 1 2018 Ford SUV through Jeff Martin Auctioneers.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve the sales.
Okay. We have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the sale at auction 3 2019 Dodge Durangos and 1 2018 Ford SUV through the Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be building maintenance. Mr. Bauer.
Good morning.
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 Consider approving the water and wastewater service repair agreement with the City of Hutchinson to repair wastewater service at the McLeod County Environmental Service Building. The city will cover all repair costs up to $8,500. The county will be responsible for costs that exceed that. So we have a little broken main going into the environmental services, and Mark's actually been working with the city a little bit on that prior, but so ultimately they came back out. This has been going on for about 2 months now. Said, you know, they're going to repair it and got this contract. I think, Ryan, you may have looked at that already. So they don't anticipate costing more than $8,500. But part of the agreement was we just have to agree that if it's more, we'll cover that.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
I know it's been going on for a while, and Mark's been concerned about it, and it finally got, it's not much different than any other contract for your house or whatever, what you're responsible for, so, I mean, it's, don't want to take it lightly, but it's just cost of doing business, so with that, I'd make a motion to go ahead and get it done.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the water and wastewater service agreement with the City of Hutchinson to repair the water service at the McLeod County Environmental Service Building. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I do, there could, I mean, if something more, if there is more wrong on our end of it, are you coming back, you're gonna fix it right away, I would hope, right?
Yes.
Good morning.
I mean, I hate to get in, but I don't wanna have it to come back just because we missed something here.
Yeah, so the last time they were out, they sound tested it, so they had a consultant out of the cities with a little bit better scale. I'm not sure what they call that machine, but looking for those leaks, listening for those leaks. They didn't hear anything. They ran that thing all the way into the elbow underneath our kitchen in that facility, which is on the west side. They think that the leak is in that boulevard area, so for you that have been to the building, looks like we have a small wetland in our parking lot, and the catch basin's starting to sag. So they think that it's right at the collar where it runs from the city street into our facility. If there is more, that is why the policy that they have put in place, they'll cover everything up to the building, but they will not go any further. So, again, hope is a strong word, but they're expecting that fix should, you know, alleviate the issue, and we have nothing further from our building wall to our elbow and into our main. They do not anticipate there are any other leaks.
Okay, but I guess the question is, if there is, we're not gonna come back and we're gonna fix it right away. I mean, we're gonna do what you gotta do, right?
I would say that at that point, we then have to start entertaining contractors to do that repair, because you may or may not need to do some directional boring. And that fix may be a little bit more difficult than just repairing something in the parking lot.
Okay, let's hope for the best then.
Let's hope for the best.
Okay, any further questions? We will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
thank you.
Mark, as long as you're there, environmental services.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. So we have 3 items this morning for your consideration. Item A is to consider approving a request by Brandon Gatz, Event Director for Land Castle Summer Extravaganza, LCSE, North Star Ice Fishing LLC, for an application to permit a large assembly event in Winston Township, McLeod County, Minnesota. LCSE is an annual family-friendly event with high standards for those who attend. A special campground, Ground A. So on that campground A in your packet, what that is it's the campground area directly to the west of the grandstand for Winstock, their grounds. It's directly to the west. And that's where this event would be held. So Campground A is offered for patrons to bring their ice castle fish houses to enjoy seeing their ice fishing friends for a summer weekend and purchase new gear sold by professional vendors. It is a for-profit event. Money is donated to the local organizations and causes throughout the year. The assembly will begin on September 14th, 2023, and end on September 16th, 2023. The event time for each day is approximately 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Quiet hours are between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. each day. This event has attracted up to 1,100 attendees in the past. This year's attendance is expected to be around 700. With that being said, if we do consider approval, there is a fee that needs to be paid. It is $300 per day. So this event to begin on September 14th, to make it active, we would need a check and payment from the applicant for $900 prior to the 14th.
Okay.
There's no objection from the city or the townships of doing this, is there?
I don't see Brandon here today. I know he's working some long hours at 3 a.m. So
Well, I think it's fine, but
I have not heard any objections to that.
I'm just kind of surprised that it's this close to the date of having it. I mean,
I would agree.
with that, I'll make a motion to approve. I just think it caution that they should probably get these things in a little sooner.
We have a motion by Kruger, a second by Luthens to consider approving a request for the Land Castle Summer Extravaganza. Any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item B is to consider a request by Travis Stratman, Minnesota Boardwalks LLC, to approve application RZ 23-03 to rezone the south 9.29 acres of property located at part of the northwest quarter of the northwest quarter, section 36, Glencoe Township, from agricultural to I-1 light industrial in order to construct a manufacturing facility for a manufacturing business. In that manufacturing, they construct bog walks for the DNR. The Glencoe Town Board recommended approval on August 10th, 2023. The McLeod County Planning Commission recommended denial on August 23rd, 2023 with a 3-2 vote due to the following findings of fact. Number one, the proposed use will affect nearby residential area. And number two, I-1 light industrial manufacturing does not fit in this area zoned agricultural. I do believe that the second finding had to do with the fact that there is a residential home directly to the north and east of this property. So with that being said, Travis is present if you have questions for him.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
The only thing I have, there's only 3 of us here today, and I apologize to Mr. Stratman, but I don't think it's fair to, it would take all 3 or unanimous vote either way to do anything other than that wouldn't, according to, if I'm right, Ryan, that's what we have to do anyway. So within our ordinance or our rules, we can postpone this till the 21st.
So the next meeting, I believe, is on the 19th of September, if that is correct.
But I mean, his permit will be good
Yeah.
through the 21st.
You have his application, so the 60-day rule, state statute 1599, we have to render a decision by September 28th.
Okay.
So you are within your timeline if you choose to table this until the September 19th meeting.
Well, and for me, it's probably the most fairest way to do it. I mean, it's kind of important with our ordinance that we do have in place on farmland. I think it's important to have the full board present. In my opinion, that's how I feel about it.
I think your findings are correct, especially when we have a planning commission, recommended denial. We do need all 5 members here in order to have a good conversation on that. I'll make the motion to table till the 19th then.
I'll second it.
The motion by Wright, second by Kruger. There is no discussion on that, so we'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll see that on the 19th. Please work that in the schedule.
Thank you.
Item C is consider approving conditional use permit 23-13 for Lester Minor, AKA Pastor Bob, to operate a memorial garden to be known as Forever Prairie Memorial Meadows for pet cremation remains on a 79-acre parcel in Collins Township and on an 80-acre parcel in Round Grove Township. Parcels both owned by the applicant. The Collins Township Board recommended approval on August 10th, 2023, and the Round Grove Township Board recommended approval on August 14th, 2023. The McLeod County Planning Commission recommended approval at its August 23rd, 2023 meeting with the following conditions. Number 1, no burial of pet remains other than ashes to be spread on site. Number 2, there shall be no physical urns, metal, wood, or other materials. Number 3, visiting hours shall be 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. Patrons shall be accompanied by a member of the business. Number 4, all access shall be from 65th Street, which is on the south side of the parcel in Round Grove Township. Number 5, off-street parking only on adjacent to a parcel out of the easement area on property owned by the business owner. No parking on 65th Street or on US Highway 212. And number 6, this memorial garden is for ashes of pets only. So with that being said, if there are questions, Pastor Bob is present. We've had limited discussion at the Planning Commission. Eventually, he had considered maybe going the route of human remains there if a pet owner and the human wanted to be spread together. It was my interpretation that it was just for pets only, so Pastor Bob at the Planning Commission did elect to amend his application to just include pets at this time. So, and him and I had a very good conversation this morning again. Both are very appreciative of each other's understanding of this. So if the business, if approved and the business does go well, and it's more of an online type of business that he would be doing a lot of his outreach with, he would maybe entertain adding human remains down the road, but give us the opportunity to truly vet that and what that looks like if he did add that in the future. And if he had to add that in the future, it would require a conditional use permit to do that as well.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Memory reminds me that we had years back, we had quite a deal as far as burials in the county other than in a cemetery. Now, how does this, it's probably a great idea, but how does this land stay as a burial? I mean, what happens in 10 years if somebody sells the land? And I mean, people have their pets on there, and they're sure not gonna like it seen turned into something else.
So this is a question that and not to put our county attorney on the spot, but Ryan and I did have some conversations on this in regards to liability, specifically to access. And I don't know how to answer that question. Pastor Bob, you're welcome to come up.
No, and
The concern on the burial
I'm
side-
not trying to be difficult, but I mean,
Yeah, right.
is the land designated, it can't be forever, or can it be? This is somewhat new to me, but.
Thank you,
Morning,
Commissioners,
Pastor
yes. It is a permanent conservation easement,
Okay.
and my business plan is to state with a signed understanding by anybody who wishes to have me do a brief video stream of putting their ashes of their pets respectfully within this property, that it's subject to be shut down at my prerogative. If I find it's not worth my time, if it's not financially feasible, and upon my future, if my health permits or interest wanes or my death, I don't know if either of my daughters would want to consider this. They have no pastoral care background. My primary thing is to do this by way of the internet and have videos for people. And I would offer brief grief counseling upon the death of their pet. And so I don't want people on the property. I won't be emphasizing visitors. They just entrust me the remains, and I'll have periodic videos from that place to say, here's what it looks like on the prairie today. Can you imagine your pet's spirits here? So minimal human impact on the land, with understanding that they can't come there without my direct permission. And for number 3, again, on this proposal, I'm not going to emphasize people coming there, just by way of the video and my communication with them. That would be the extent of it.
And I mean, Mr. Chair, I mean, in today's world, it's probably, I mean, I hear the stories of people throwing ashes to someplace they liked or whatever. It's probably a good thing. I don't know how I missed it, but there was, I didn't realize it was in a permanent easement. Now, how's the state, is there
I have permission from Bowser through Mr. Freitag and Mr. Drager as they've talked up the chain in St. Paul.
I mean, I haven't said that, I guess it's, I mean, I didn't do any research on the permanent easement with the state, but that sounds,
And to confirm,
I mean, it's new to me, so I'm probably looking like a deer in the headlights, but it is what it is, but.
Mr. Commissioner, it's new to all of us, so not to make light of it, we just don't see a lot of this. And trying to do research on this through the state, we have discussed this with the DNR, with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, with the Board of Animal Science, Board of Mortuary Science. Every agency at the state level seems to redirect that to another agency, which tells you there are no rules, Minnesota rules or statutes on this, so it's new. And in regards to that, when I spoke with our county attorney about that, it was specifically in regards to that liability in regards to access. If you were selling a plot, i.e. a normal cemetery, there are regulations and statute in regards to cemeteries and lot block for a cemetery with access requirements. This really wouldn't pertain because there's no sale of a lot. It would just simply be, as the applicant has stated, it would simply be him providing grief counseling and the spraying of those ashes. And it is a permanent easement, so there would have to be something at the federal level for it to change, to take that out of that federal easement.
It's probably more secure than a cemetery, to be honest with you, but. Probably. I just, it's a great idea. It's kind of like a memorial garden type situation. It's a private contract between, I mean, now I'm asking, not telling you, it's a private contract between Pastor Bob or the Memorial Gardens or whatever you call it, and that individual. I mean, you'd hate to see it all up in weeds sometime, but that's not I guess that wouldn't be our issue.
So with that permanent easement, there are requirements on there in regards to what the maintenance that has to be done on that, obviously for noxious weeds, but you're correct. I envision that the same way, that it's a business contract between the Memorial Garden and the business and the individual who is seeking their help.
Well, I've known Pastor Bob for a while, so I'm sure he'll run it, but I mean, nobody lives forever. That's just all I'm just trying to.
And then,
There's so many pets in the world today. I mean, everybody's got 3 dogs, and they're like members of the house. So I have my own.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably better and more secure, a nicer place for them for eternity out there than it is in your backyard.
my wife and I discussed upon our death, if our 2 daughters, and one is married, but if that's something they have no interest in or abilities, we would consider having them sell it to Pheasants Forever, Duck Unlimited, or the state for a WPA, what's that, wildlife production area, adjacent to this property to the west. It's already there. So then weed maintenance would be their perpetual concern, but right.
I've asked all mine, so I don't know if anybody, I've asked all my questions.
Mark, did we ever get the question of the 2 acres for parking?
So he owns that 2 acres that's adjacent to this, and at
You
the
already
planning,
own it.
yeah,
Okay.
and at the planning commission, we just reiterated that that's where any off-street parking would have to occur. That 2 acres is outside of the permanent easement,
Got
so
it,
he is allowed to allow for parking on site if that is a request
And
from.
then the neighbor that was there, concerns about parking?
She had no concerns in regards to the parking piece as long as it was off-street.
And we have no liability as far as down the road. I mean, this is just a use permit for him to go forward with this. It's no liability to us if the land goes some other way.
I'll defer that to our attorney, but I believe there's nothing that's sold other than a service, so there's no physical exchange property. So I believe our liability is limited.
And I mean, I agree. I mean, your action today is really through the lens of the zoning piece, and to the extent there might be disputes that could arise as far as between applicant and customers or clients. I mean, that would really be a private matter between them, and hopefully there won't be that either, but that wouldn't be a county issue.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving conditional use permit 23-13 to operate a memorial garden known as Forever Prairie Memorial Meadows. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I do have just one other caution, that if it does go to human remains, which in today's world, I guess I'm not totally opposed to, but we better have a lot more documentation or whatever. You know, pets are one thing, human remains are another, so we better make sure that there's a true perpetual easement or something stays there if that.
Absolutely. That was the concern of staff as well, if that was the intent to have humans out there, so we do need to vet that a little bit further.
Okay, any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, thank you. Nice to see you.
Yep. Next up will be Health and Human Services.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have two items for you today. The first is to consider approving the McLeod County interactive video for targeted case management policy with implementation effective today, September 5th, 2023. Interactive video is now an approved way of completing monthly visits for child welfare, children's mental health, adult mental health, vulnerable adults, and developmental disabilities targeted case management, also known as TCM. It is defined under Minnesota Statute 256B.0625. Interactive video cannot exceed, in our policy, interactive video cannot exceed more than 50% of the required visits for targeted case management services and must be approved by the client. In most cases, it will be accessed during inclement weather and illness. Zoom and Microsoft Teams will be our two platforms to use interactive video.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the McLeod County interactive video for target case management policy, implementation effective date of September 5th. Any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 2, consider accepting a Prime West Health Community Reinvestment Program County Support Grant in the amount of $144,234.12 that was awarded to McLeod County Health and Human Services. 2 grant applications were submitted for the following designated funds: $72,232 to support an addition of a bilingual community health worker, and $72,002.12, which will be catered to Carver County, which provides our mobile crisis services with the intent to support another McLeod County mobile crisis staff member. Prime West Health immediately approved our grant applications, and they are excited to see how these dollars will support Prime West Health members throughout our community.
All right, questions, anyone?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I asked a number of questions on when you came at the last meeting, and gave it a lot of serious thought, and I guess I'm okay with it. I'm on budgets, and I still don't know exactly when we approved that other worker, whether it was through our board action or through budgets. I really don't know. I'd hate to, obviously the 72,000, there's some money we can utilize here for efficiencies, but I guess my statement is that I would appreciate and probably ask a number of questions as time goes on about efficiencies, and, we can't keep adding to the department, in my opinion, without showing some efficiencies. I really know we need some bilingual staff. And I don't know how to do that. I'm sure that money buys a bilingual person. I mean, it's gonna take some work or
It will
maybe
help.
some, I hate to call them standards of hiring, but we're gonna have to emphasize bilingual people. With Seneca in town and the way things are going with workers, I mean, that's pretty important.
It's a pretty high need. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I can speak to that, Commissioner. So it was, the position was approved in the budgets. I have not brought that request to add that position before the board. I was waiting until the right time. This grant seemed like a good opportunity to solicit some additional funds. So if this is approved, my next step will then be to work on that job description, work with the evaluation committee, and bring that job request to add that position before the board.
Mr. Chair, and I understand it's a lot of work for you, but I would like to see, I mean, the bilingual thing is, in fact, I was a little shocked that we don't have more, availability to interpreters. I hate to use that word, but people that are working for us that can help us with that. But in your position, I'd like to see that blended in. It doesn't have to be a special person it needs
Right.
to just be an employee that can do that type of thing, and we may have to push on an emphasis to that in other areas.
Right.
I realize you're just talking about this grant today, but that's what I would like to see.
And this community health worker, our hope is to attract a bilingual community health worker, but the community health worker does much more than just translation services. They're really embedded into the community, and it is a billable service. So we will see, we just don't know how much we'll recoup on that, but it is a billable service, and other counties around us have added this position and will be happy to assist us in making sure that we can bill for the services, or how to go about billing for those services, so.
And it's not just about recouping, it's about being able to perform the services with a clear understanding with the people you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And I will, I guess I will support this, and, but again, it's not just one. I think if we could do 2 or 3 in your number of employees you have would be great, but maybe a bigger emphasis on that, so.
Is that a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay. I'll second that. We have a motion by Kruger, second by Wright, to consider accepting the Prime West Health Community Reinvestment Program Support Grant in the amount of $144,234.12. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
But
we had this budgeted last year to what dollar figure?
I don't recall that.
And I apologize, Mr. Chair, that I did see the dollar figure somewhere. It was, I don't remember what grade do you have?
I don't have it with me, but I can
So
get
we
it,
have
we can get
full-time
it to you.
person?
Yes, we budgeted for a full-time person.
And that was before, and I realized that was done before this grant, but again, it's a one-time shot of money, and that's why I emphasize the budgeting part. I mean, I just don't, my thought was it was foolish. I mean, this $72,000 obviously going to Carver County, that's a plus for us in our budget, and this other part's a one-time deal, but then again, it's, we're gonna have to figure it out. It's not so much the payback, it's to be able to do our job the way we're supposed to.
And when I come to request that this job be added to my department, I will share the efficiencies that we've done.
Okay.
any further comments or questions? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Public Works.
Good morning.
Morning.
Consider approving the purchase of a 2023 Kuhn GMD 240 HD 8-foot rotary disc mower from Arnold's of Glencoe at a cost of $12,495 with funds from the Highway Equipment Maintenance budget. The cost of the mower includes a trade amount of $3,350 for a 22 Kuhn mower, GMD 600 GII disc mower. Midwest Machinery Company of Glencoe, Minnesota also provided a quote of $12,900 for similar John Deere R240 disc mower, including the trade of the same mower. The mower purchase approved for $10,650 at the August 15th meeting was a leftover 2022 model that Arnold's had on stock, and that was sold between when staff received the quote for that and the board approved the purchase of that mower. The estimated delivery for this new mower is September. This is part of our normal capital replacement program and is budgeted for 2023.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
go ahead.
I work on budgets, and I thought I was dreaming. I thought we'd done this once when I worked on budgets. You could stop trying to fool an old man, but I do move to approve. And I just want to make sure everybody realizes that there was a time lapse from that original purchase to now. I don't know what, we should maybe talk about that sometime, but
Yeah, there was 14 days from when we received the quote for the 2022 mower and when the board approved that quote. We sent the approval to Arnold's on the 16th, so the day after the board meeting, and they had just sold it. So what's your luck when the mower's been sitting on the lot for over a year and you go to purchase it and within 2 weeks it's sold?
Yep. Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Kruger, second by Luthens to approve the purchase of a 2023 Kuhn 8-foot rotary disc mower from Arnold's with a cost of $12,495, including the trade-in. Any further discussion? Going to proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Consider award Fairgrounds Drainage Improvement Project CP 23-004 to Jerpy Contracting, Inc. of Hutchinson, Minnesota with a low bid of $513,247.35. We received other bids from Schneider Excavating and Grading, R&R Excavating, Inc., Meyer Contracting, Inc., Land Pride Construction, LLC, for the project, which they ranged from $517,000 to $651,000. The engineer's estimate for this project was $538,921.
Glad to see local contractor getting in on this one and some pretty relatively tight bidding numbers. Can you just explain what's going on with the project so that everybody understands where the money's being invested?
Yep, so this project is basically a grading and repaving of the inner ring road around the mall and the fairgrounds. We're adding some additional storm sewer to help improve drainage out there, doing some minor site grading in order to make sure everything gets to the drainage structures, adding inner curb ring on the inside of the mall area to protect the edge of the bituminous, as well as stubbing in some utilities for some future building projects out there.
Okay, good. I'll just add that we've been looking at this project for quite some time. There's been a lot of repairs that have been kind of kicked down the road, knowing that we have to do this first in order to deal with some of those water concerns, and so that's where we're finally to the point where we're ready to. We know all the variables, and it's time to get this project done. And so we set this up so as soon as the county fair was over with, we could go ahead and get our construction going for the fall. So.
is that a motion?
I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion by Wright, second by Kruger to consider awarding the Fairgrounds Drainage Improvement Project to Jerpy Contracting, low bid of $513,247.35. Any further discussion? We'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Auditor Treasurer's Office.
Morning.
Good morning.
Today I'm here for two items that are part of the same estimate. I have received from No Inc. for you to consider to upgrade the election poll pads at a cost of $472.50 each, with funds from the election budget to be reimbursed by the municipalities. So McLeod County initially purchased these poll pads with grant dollars, county match, and partial reimbursement from municipalities for use in the 2018 elections and afterwards. As technology advances, equipment must be kept up to date for support and for optimum security. I've received the estimate from No Inc. LLC to upgrade the current number of 55 poll pads for use in the 2024 elections at a total cost of $25,987.50. The municipalities will pay the $472.50 for each of their poll pad upgrades. And if a municipality wishes to increase its quantity of poll pads, it will be responsible for the full cost. As a reminder, currently the county does pay for all annual maintenance on all election equipment within the county.
Okay. Questions, anyone?
Mr. Chair, I really don't have any questions. It's all kind of laid out here, so with that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the estimate for the upgrade election poll pads at a cost of $472.50 each, with funds from the election budget. Any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item B is to consider approving the estimate from No Inc. LLC out of St. Louis, Missouri to purchase 2 additional poll pads and printers at a cost of $3,860 with funds from the election budget. This is, again, the same estimate that I had received, and I am requesting the $3,860 for the 2 new poll pads and printers to be used at the county, as we are the designated polling location for the county and the mail ballot precincts. This equipment will be necessary in 2024 due to the new legislation of extending direct balloting dates.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Connie, maybe something just dawned on me. Maybe you should explain explain what a poll pad does. So people don't get confused on what these machines do or don't do.
The poll pads are used for check-ins instead of the paper rosters. They're also used for election day registrants instead of the paper that we formerly had. And actually, they are a benefit. They sort of guide the election judge through the process of what they need, rather than just all paper.
Again, and it doesn't vote. It's an informational process. Is that when same day voter, does that go straight to your office from them, or is that kept within that roster?
You mean, does that come to us immediately? No, they're not on Wi-Fi. They handle that all at their precinct.
Which is a good thing. Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
There's a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the estimate to purchase 2 additional poll pads and printers at a cost of $3,860, funds from the election budget. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, up to, county administration. Looks like I'll be the first one up. We had a workshop since our last meeting, met with our SWCD staff and representatives from U.S. Fish and Wildlife on a ditch matter. And other than that, the last couple of weeks for me has been a lot of county fair and state fair activities, as I'm pretty involved with the 4-H program. And so, as I've done for many years, I wanted to bring forward today the report of how the McLeod County kids did during the state fair. And as always, the delegation of kids that we send to the state fair did exceptionally well. And so I'll read through the list of the different honors that were won by our kids. There was a total of 53 different projects from McLeod County 4-Hers, varying anywhere from beef cattle, dairy cattle, meat goats, dairy goats, poultry, rabbits, swine, sheep, as well as livestock demonstration, animal science, and livestock promotion. When you're at the state fair, Red ribbon typically means, there's somewhere maybe to improve. Blue ribbon would be basically, meet all the requirements, fantastic project. Purple is, of course, a champion in class, but it also could be given out to the top couple in the blue ribbon group as being just an exceptional honors, but might not be just that one singled out champion. So I'll go through the list as quickly as I can. I know that we have 2 newspapers that watch, and I hope that someday some of these accomplishments can find their way on the front page of newspapers. But and I'll skip some of the breed names, but I'll try to get kind of the livestock class and what the award was. We did have a young man that brought champion overall dairy market weathered goat. He also participated in the purple ribbon livestock option, which is a rare honor to have. We had the purple ribbon lop rabbit, champion brown Swiss cow, blue ribbon red and white Holstein, purple, reserve champion rabbit, purple ribbon milking 2-year-old doe, champion in a class of the Alpine Junior Doe, purple ribbon registered Duroc, gilt, grand champion, breeding duck, reserve champion black Angus steer. I will just put a name on that one. That one was Olivia Lonkridge from the Farm Family of the Year that was here earlier today. Purple ribbon on a Jersey Junior Yearling, reserve champion Yorkshire gilt, best in show junior doe in a rabbit class, purple ribbon registered Holstein winter calf, purple ribbon Jersey Junior Yearling, purple ribbon to a Jersey calf, champion Jersey heifer, purple ribbon Duroc barrow, purple ribbon in a rabbit class, reserve champion rabbit, and then another class. Showmanship results. This is not a competition of the animal, but more in how you show it. This is a skill in being able to not only, monitor what the judge is doing during the class, but also, what your animal, you have to know a lot about your animal. It's broken down in different age divisions. So in the rabbit, we had in the advanced class we had a 4th place. In the breeding gilt, which is dealing with the swine, we had a 5th place. Poultry a 6th. Dairy intermediate champion. Dairy senior goat division champion. Junior division we were 7th place. Dairy senior division a champion. Dairy intermediate division 3rd place. Keep in mind some of these classes have got 20, 30, 40 kids in them. Let's see, another dairy division senior in 3rd place, and a dairy advanced division reserve champion. Livestock interview. This is a process where every exhibitor goes through a question and answer period, and it's a lot of, how much do you know about your project area, how much do you know about 4-H, how much do you know about a lot of things. And so all the kids go through this, the hundreds and thousands something that were there for livestock encampment. It's one honor to be pulled back as a finalist to go in the 2nd round. It's completely another to say that you win the thing. In the meat goat grades 9 through 13, we had a champion. In the advanced rabbit, we had a division champion. Meat goats, grades 9 through 13, a finalist. Swine advanced division champion. Poultry intermediate division finalist. Dairy, grades 6 through 7, a champion. In the sheep project area, 9 through 13, a finalist. The market beef, grades 9 through 13, a champion. Rabbit intermediate division finalist. Market beef, grades 6 through 8, a finalist. Dairy, grades 8 through 9, a finalist. And dairy, grades 12 through 13, a finalist. There is yet another competition that takes place there with all the kids that is called herdsmanship. That is your ability to keep your showing area, your livestock area clean. You're constantly sweeping. You're constantly talking with different individuals or guests to the state fair that you're representing your industry, you're representing your farm while you're there. So, and this is a competition that goes through all the barns. Some counties take it more serious than others. McLeod County, it's kind of a matter of pride is how we've set it up. And each livestock area scattered throughout the barns, they're responsible for, again, keeping it clean, keeping it neat. And last year, McLeod County 4-Hers overall, which it's a scoring that takes all the different project areas, compiles it together, And last year, the McLeod County 4-H kids took first place. We deserved a champion overall. And they brought home a repeat of that this year, 2 years in a row. So that is absolutely amazing. It takes a lot of work in order to do that. And so, you know, we kind of teased them a little bit. Are you going to be able to do it 3 in a row? Because I don't know of anybody that ever has. But that is really cool to be able to say that they've done that now 2 years in a row. That when we compile all those projects areas together, and that's just a sign of, you know, the type of kids that we're sending down there, the families they come from, the staff that they have, and the support that our community gives them. So I think that's a pretty outstanding layout of accomplishments of our 4-H program. So that's what I got.
Thanks, Paul. Commissioner Wright, I just want to add my comments. It's a reflection. We've had good kids for a long time, and you'll notice through the year that our whole board is proud of our fairgrounds, which gives these kids an opportunity to have a nice facility to work on that with, and they use it more than just during the fair. And I actually want to thank Commissioner Wright himself, and there's a lot of other volunteers that put in a lot of time, along with our ability to help these kids. This is reflecting, and in this day and age, I don't think people realize how important this is. I mean, these kids are good kids. I mean, I don't interact with them as personally as Commissioner Wright does, but they're good kids, and they have this is one of the few avenues of a bright future, in my opinion, that there is today. So with that, I'd like to thank him and the other, obviously the exhibitors, but along with the adults and leaders that make this all possible. As far as since the last board meeting, we had a workshop after the last meeting. I spent 2 days at a drainage conference in St. Cloud on the 17th and 18th, 22nd at a Buffalo Creek watershed meeting, 23rd our HRA board meeting where we're working on our budgets. Unfortunately, I have to talk about rental increases and some repairs. We have our ARPA money that we got, and we're working on furnaces and air exchangers. With that, getting that all in place. And then I've had some other meetings with some ditches and our conditional use, did some investigating on conditional use permits and some other zoning matters. Agenda review on the 31st, and brings us up to today.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too had on the 15th a workshop, and then I spent 2 days at the drainage conference in St. Cloud also. On Tuesday on the 22nd, we had a Buffalo Creek watershed meeting. And 23rd, Wednesday, was planning and zoning in Hutch. The 24th, I met with a landowner in Ryan, trying to talk about some tile. And on the 27th, Skyview Dairy representative had 5 people serving milk, all you could drink, for $2. And I had one kid that drank 14 glasses in front of me.
Oh, my.
So I asked him to go to the bathroom before he did any more. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from Attorney's Office?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sheila, go ahead.
Thank you. Item A, County Administration. Consider approving the grade assignment recommendation from the Evaluation Committee and Personnel Committee for the new job description, Office Manager, Paralegal, grade 180 in the County Attorney's Office. There are other office managers across the county. There is a need for an official lead position among support staff, someone with authority to help supervise and direct support staff in a capacity that is currently inefficient and ineffective for the county attorney to act. This request is not for an additional position. This would change a role into that role.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the grade assignment recommendation from the evaluation committee up to grade 180 for the office manager paralegal. Any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, consider approval of the grade assignment recommendation from the Evaluation Committee and Personnel Committee for the new job description, Victim Witness Coordinator, grade 130. This position would fulfill the requirements set forth by Minnesota statute and the rules of professional responsibility to have a number of victims' right mandates with which the county attorney's office must comply.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
This is an additional employee, is that correct?
Do you want to comment?
Which is fine, but I just want to make it clear, you're actually in, I won't get into that, you're in need of these employees, but I'd just like to make it clear.
This is listed as an additional position, currently, yes.
Which
And something we haven't, yeah, a position that obviously we haven't had in the past, so.
I'm on personnel, and I'm also in touch with Ryan and our administrator. We've done, it's a needed position, and I just wanted to make it clear rather than have the question that that it is a new position, so I would move to approve.
Second. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Kruger, second by Luthens, to consider approving the grade assignment of 130 to a new job description, Victim Witness Coordinator. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Just to go on the record, I mean, his office is swamped. I mean, you can tell by listening to, it's not only Minneapolis and St. Paul. McLeod has their issues, and he's got a lot of work to do. So, again, I support the position.
Any further
Mr. Chairman,
comments?
if I may, and I appreciate that, and one thing I would note, and it's similar to other areas that come before you, but this is an instance, again, of there's additional requirements that are, year to year, and in this last session, get imposed on our office to comply within statute. And I mean, obviously, it's important work, and it's part of our office's mission anyway. Crime victims' rights do matter. The time and information and communication we can, give to them, it is important. But then in addition to that, it's statutorily mandated, and there's additional mandates coming through. And with all of the changes as far as sentencing and when offenders may be released and sentences modified, cases expunged, we're required to notify victims on almost all of those instances. And it simply takes a lot of time. And it's the right thing to do anyway, and we really want to centralize that and have someone who that work can be their priority. Otherwise, it has the danger of always getting pushed to a back burner, because we have, like today, 13 additional people in custody from a long weekend, and that's just, it can be taxing. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I do appreciate the consideration.
Thanks for that. All right, any further discussion? We'll then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, consider approving the clarification of printed contract contents agreement with the Minnesota Nurses Association, MNA. This agreement includes 2 memoranda of understanding, the printed copies of the 2023 labor agreement for the healthcare savings plan severance and 2023 insurance, which were previously bargained and mutually agreed upon. So there are no changes, just approval of the agreements that were missed.
Okay, I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Wright, second by Luthens, to consider approving the clarification of printed contract contents agreement between the Minnesota Nurses Association. Any further discussion? Then proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item D, notification of board workshop following the board meeting on Tuesday, September 19, 2023, at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota. Thank you.
Do we have anyone here for open forum or press relations? Anyone? Moving on to a motion to recess.
I so move.
Second.
We have a motion by Luthens, second by Kruger, to recess until our next county board meeting, 9 o'clock, Tuesday, September 19th, 2023 at the McLeod County Government Center. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.